This is Sidleways, Episode 2, Season 1, The Mended Drum, My Local Boozer. Welcome to Sidleways, a fan-made audio story inspired by the Discworld books by Terry Pratchett. This is not an official adaptation, just one of the bookshop's accidental journeys through L-space, some sarcasm, and very bad timing. If you like what you hear, consider checking out the Light Fantastic or Guards for more Discworld chaos, as this is loosely based on stuff from those books. The Mended Drum doesn't welcome visitors so much as it accepts their inevitability. You don't enter the drum, you survive it. Or you don't. Either way, it's character building. I've been told the Librarian might have answers, or at least some books. Possibly both. Tonight the place is full, not crowded, full. Like a stew that's simmered too long and now contains ingredients nobody remembers adding. Like a crazy stone soup. The floorboards groan under boots, troll feet, and the weight of objective regret. The scent of beer, dust, and ambition hangs in the air. There's laughter, shouting, and somewhere an off-key accordion that might be legally classified as a weapon. A troll splatter grunted at me on the way in. As noted in Guards, he nodded to the troll, which was employed by the drum as a splatter. Nope, like a bouncer, but trolls use more force. Formerly known as the Broken Drum before it lived up to its name, the drum's been burnt, rebuilt, this time with a more structurally sound door, which was kind of a waste as it has been smashed since then and replaced again, flattened by a troll band, and recreated with its original rotting reed floor, complete with all the stains, burns, and flaws. Eventually, it returned to its original state through a combination of structural continuity and stubborn on-brand interior decorating. If buildings had souls, the drums would be mostly made out of soot, stale beer, and grudges. Heroes, rogues, students, assassins, and never fools. They bring down the whole crowd. They're not exactly actually funny. Fools exist only to remind us that someone has it way worse. They're just not admitted. Mimes are actually banned from the entire city by the order of the patrician. The drum takes all types. Red Sharon was hunched over a pint muttering about how real warriors used steel and scars, not polished armor and dramatic lighting. Someone swore Cohen the Barbarian had been spotted, alive, which is a surprise, laughing, and very much slightly on fire. No one argued it didn't seem safe. If you hear quiet, someone's about to throw a chair. Each of the four corners, a roguish figure lurks in the shadows, smoking a pipe and hoping they someday can grow a full beard. They look a bit rangy, if you get my meaning. They take turns watching me, one at a time, like a rotation, and I'm not sure what to think of the meaningful glances, but it's making me very uncomfortable. And I'm pretty sure that they're checking to make sure no one else is looking at the exact same time, which is weird. This isn't just a place for drinks, it's a waypoint for people headed into a story. I swear the whole scene reminds me of every Dungeons & Dragons campaign. It starts in a tavern. I could almost hear someone off in the distance yelling, "I cast fireball at the darkness." You know, because why wouldn't they? A man with a face like overcooked porridge tried to sell me a spoon. No explanation. Just a spoon. I declined. Then the door banged open. Sergeant Colin and Corporal Nobby Nobbs entered. I had to take a second look at Nobby, not sure who or what he was. He is the only human in Ankh-Morpork with a certificate from the patrician to prove it. He smelled faintly of something medicinal, and his spotty face made you wonder if he was more skin or more spots. Colin, though, he was a sergeant. Red-faced, big, the kind of man you spot as a sergeant, even in a bathrobe. Or maybe he could have a job as a butcher. Loud, confident, possibly both of those things. The stripes on his sleeve were technically optional, he radiated. Sergeant. He was Sergeant colon. No one sergeants like a colon. They gave me a once-over. I wasn't doing anything arrestable or edible, so they moved on. After scanning the room, I saw peanut shells drifting from the rafters, and then silence. A large shape dropped. Orange fur, long arms, deep, thoughtful. Ook. The librarian, even the troll splatter, stepped back. A customer spilled their drink and apologized to the table. Not the librarian, just on instinct. If you're wondering why the librarian's an orangutan, well, he wasn't always. He used to be human. Then a spell explosion in the Unseen University's library decided otherwise. Instead of a fireball or vaporization, he turned into an orangutan, and being a sensible wizard, he refused to be changed back. Orangutans are better at climbing, reaching high shelves, and discouraging patrons who dog your pages. If you want the full story, it's in the light fantastic. You can't miss it. He said, "Rook." I said, "Mr. Librarian, I have some questions about L-Space and my Uncle Frank." He handed me a beginner's guide to L-Space, annotated footnotes in a second book, the Dictionary of Ook. Seems I've been accepted. He was already prepared, having brought these books. Seems like bad news, like my shop travels fast. I flipped to the glossary. Ook is contextual. Possibly that shelf is unstable. Don't open that volume. Have you seen my banana? Your books are overdue. Who knows? The librarian mimed 3 syllables, tapped his chest, then held up one finger, and he pointed at me, and he curled his hand like a hook and slowly peeled invisible layers off of something curved. Then he mimed a bite. I finally got it. Banana. I nodded. He nodded. There was mutual understanding. Then he added a teapot, a series of exaggerated wobbles, and a slow-motion duck. Possibly something falling, and finally a subtle existential warning. I nodded. Then he pointed to his left, wiggling his fingers, tapped on his chest again, and mimed what might have been a door creaking open, followed by an explosion. I gave him a confused thumbs up. I didn't think that telling him I didn't understand was a good idea. He rolled his eyes, made a face like an eye roll, and mimed opening a book, pointing to it, then pointing to me, and I pulled out a notepad and started drawing stick figures. He peered at it and gave a disapproving ook. I erased it. He gave me a polite nod, and we were sort of making progress. Eventually he shook his head, handed me the Dictionary of Ook again, and tapped on it meaningfully. This time I got the message. Then he started again. He opened an invisible book, and he made a series of strange folding motions with his hands. And he either was doing paper origami or wrangling a really uncooperative bat. Then he walked in place, pointed in 5 directions, and mimicked being yanked sideways. I blinked. Is this about time? Or travel? Time travel? Origami? Bad travel agent? He sighed, full body orangutan sighed, which is quite impressive, and mimed a book, dragging him by the face. L-Space. Got it. He nodded finally, and that's when a helpful student interjected. It's all about narrative mass. Books aren't just mass, they're story mass. The more books, the deeper the folds, every library, everywhere connected. I blinked. He nodded, then he walked directly into a chair. The 4 shady figures still hadn't moved. They took turns watching me, just one at a time, like a very passive jury. The librarian pointed to the return date inside the first book and handed it to me. Obviously, the second book is a gift. I nodded. I'd return it if I could just figure out what the local calendar is. I ordered a beer, simple, safe. The crowd sighed, disappointed. The student congratulated me for not calling the librarian a monkey, but unfortunately, he did say the word monkey at the time. The librarian tossed him like a rag doll. The crowd, used to the excitement, in fact expecting it, resumed drinking. I left with 2 books, a headache, and a feeling I'd passed a test. I come here for answers. I didn't expect a test or even to be able to pass it, but here we are. I know the point of having a bookshop is to sell books, maybe, so acquiring more books felt a little backwards. Still, I'd return the bar one. I'll have to. The librarian knows the ways of Elfspace and can find me. As I left, I saw Mona Lisa and suddenly remembered someone mentioned she eats people. Great. This place makes me wish for a barrel of Xanax, a massage chair, and maybe next time, a night at the drum with no agenda at all. Next, I'll have to do a bit of research. I'm dreading taking a look at my uncle's journal. Maybe that has some answers, or maybe it won't. I'll have to look. Something else might just find me. Thanks for listening to Sidleways. If you've enjoyed the story, consider exploring the world of Discworld by Terry Pratchett. You can start almost anywhere but The Light Fantastic, which is the second book after The Color of Magic, is a good place to meet the librarian properly. This podcast is made with affection, not affiliation. Please support the Pratchett legacy by buying or borrowing the books. And if you like this episode, share it with someone who's wandered into the wrong library at least once.